Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and it's time for a little bit of commentary because, as you know, I was at the Motorola press event the other day in New York City. It was really nice of them to invite me out to that. We saw the launch of the Moto G, which I just reviewed a couple days ago. We've had like 20,000 views on that video already. Pretty crazy in the first 2 days. We also got to see the Moto X Style, which is their new high-end, flagship phone to compete with all the other flagship phones out there. And it's a nice phone. It was really nice to play with it and touch it and everything else, and I'll be doing a review once it comes out. But what was really interesting about that phone was how they're going to sell it. So most of these flagship phones are sold through carriers. So if you want the new Samsung or the new LG or whatever, you go to your mobile phone carrier, whether it's AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile or something. You buy the phone, and usually it's at a subsidized price. So you're paying maybe $200 or $300, but the phone's real cost might be $500 or $600 or $800, but the carrier is subsidizing that cost in exchange for you locking yourself in for it to your contract. Now, the way Motorola is going to sell the Moto X Style, the Pure Edition is what they call it, is that they are going to be selling it directly to customers through the Motorola website or on Amazon or Best Buy. And what you're going to be doing is buying an unsubsidized phone for $400 with no contract. So you can pretty much buy the phone directly from Motorola, wherever you buy it, stick in the SIM card from your existing phone on the carrier that you're using, and that phone's going to work. But the best part is that if you decide one day to go to another carrier like AT&T from Verizon, you can take the AT&T card, put it in the phone, and it's going to work also. It's going to work across all carriers without a contract. And what that means is that if people start buying phones like this, you won't need the contract anymore because they have nothing to lock you in with. And right now what they do is they lock you into the contract because they're subsidizing the price of your phone. If you're not having to get the phone subsidized, you don't need the contract, which means that we might finally start seeing here in the United States more competitive plans, especially when it comes to data. Because as you all know, they all have very restrictive caps on the amount of data that you can transfer in a month, and they start dinging you with extra per gigabyte fees and everything else. This might change the direction of the marketplace if more manufacturers follow Motorola's lead. And I'm really excited to see where this Pure edition of their phone goes, because I think it's a very good thing for consumers to get out of these really restrictive contracts and have a phone that works with everything. Because even right now, you can buy an unlocked phone on some carriers, namely like a Verizon phone or maybe an AT&T phone, that may not work on other carriers. So oftentimes it's hard to buy a phone with Sprint and have it work on Verizon and vice versa, because a lot of times these manufacturers, because the carriers are kind of leaning on them to do this, they lock the phone's frequencies into the frequencies that that carrier uses versus offering one that works with everything, which is what Motorola will be doing with the Style Pure. So very exciting stuff. I am really eager to try this out and pop my SIM card in it and see how it all works. So I think this is a very good direction for the mobile industry, and I hope this succeeds for Motorola. And it's great that they're being able to get the prices down to a point where you can buy a flagship phone at a price that's competitive with what it would cost subsidized on other carriers from other manufacturers. That's the biggest news, I think, out of this event. So we'll see what happens. Now, I know there is the OnePlus 2 coming out, which is a similar business model where you're buying an unlocked phone and you can use it on just about any carrier, but it's not going to work on Sprint or Verizon here in the US, at least at the moment, because those carriers use different technologies for some of their voice communications. So that phone, although it's less expensive than the Motorola, may not be all that competitive in this instance because it's not going to work on every carrier, just the ones that support the GSM standard that AT&T and T-Mobile do. So that one's going to be a little bit less flexible, but still a very similar concept here, and I think that is also a good thing to see happening in the marketplace. And of course, Motorola has the ability to pump out millions of these phones and get them out very quickly, where OnePlus 2 has that very long waiting list that you have to get on in order to get yourself a phone. So we'll see where this all develops, but it's very good, though, that we're seeing more and more choices now of fully functional, flagship phones that don't cost a lot of money. And I think this is going to be very good for consumers in the end. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching.